Hello everyone! You are on the Film Fables channel. Today, I will tell you about the movie Rebirth. A young woman, Celine, works as a nurse in the maternity ward. She is raising her 6-year-old daughter, Lily, alone, so she does not even have time for a full rest. One morning, Celine is going to work and realizes that the girl has a very high fever. She can't miss a shift, so she asks Pauline's neighbor to babysit while she's at work. Rose, an employee of the morgue, works at the same hospital. She is not very sociable and friendly, so when she is asked to take over on shift, she responds with a firm refusal. In the evening, Rose goes to a bar where she seduces the first man she sees. In the toilet, she pleases him with her hands and a special device, and when she receives the biomaterial, she silently leaves. Back at home, Rose feeds the pet pig and then puts it on an IV. Then she lies down on the floor and injects seminal fluid into herself. While on shift, Celine drops her phone into the toilet, so she immediately rushes home after work. Having failed to find her daughter and a neighbor, the woman finds a note saying that the girl has become much worse. That's why Pauline took her to the hospital. Rushing there, Celine learns that Lily has died of bacterial meningitis. Not believing in what happened, she asks her neighbor to leave her alone, and herself, taking the girl's things, goes down to the lower floor. Rose meets the inconsolable mother at the morgue. She coldly informs that Lily's body has been taken away for examination, so it is better for the woman to leave this room. When Celine offers to give her a ride home, she agrees. In the parking lot, she notices a morgue employee loading a large black bag into her car, but does not attach any importance to this. The woman has been trying to call the examination center all weekend, but the answering machine says that they will start working only on Monday. Arriving there at the appointed time, Celine finds out that Lily's body is not there. Back at the hospital, the woman throws a scandal, demanding to let her go to the same employee of the morgue. Rose, hearing this, takes a large suitcase and hurries to the parking lot. Despite Celine's calls to stop, she gets into the car and drives away. A few days later, the woman manages to find Rose's address and ambushes her at the door. The morgue employee reluctantly makes contact, but when the sound of some kind of device comes from her apartment, she pushes the guest away and rushes inside. Celine runs after her and freezes in amazement. Her baby Lily is lying on the bed, and some devices are connected to her body. Rose explains that the girl is still alive. She was ideally suited in terms of parameters for testing her experimental drug. With his help, the doctor managed to resurrect the child, and now she is watching how the body will behave further. When a pig enters the room, Rose explains that this animal was also put to the test after death. Thanks to the constant administration of serum, which regenerates tissues, the animal lives a normal life. With the girl, everything is much more complicated because she does not know how her brain will work after resurrection. Realizing that such a chance should not be missed, Celine packs up and moves in with Rose so that Lily is under constant supervision. From that day on, the women take turns going to work so as not to leave Lily alone. While on the night shift, Celine packs everything in a suitcase that is necessary for the care and maintenance of the girl. Meanwhile, Rose is taking medications that provoke miscarriage. It turns out that she is 3 months pregnant. The woman did this in order to get the placenta, which is necessary for further experiments. A few days later, the women perform a small operation, after which Lily begins to breathe on her own. Over dinner in the evening, Rose says that she began her research as a child. Her mother was engaged in medicine, so the girl became interested in this area. During her stay in the apartment, Celine managed to teach the pig to perform basic commands. She assures that only very intelligent representatives of this species can be trained. The next day, while working, Rose loses consciousness. A colleague calls for help, and she is taken to the operating room. It turns out that after the miscarriage, she developed an infection that affected her reproductive function. A woman will no longer be able to get pregnant. Celine, agitated by Rose's long absence, witnesses Lily sit on the bed and open her eyes. She joyfully rushes to her daughter, but she does not react to the presence of her mother in any way. Weakened by anesthesia, Rose returns home. When she sees the placenta flask, she devastatingly reports that this experiment has failed because she should have added an important component 12 hours ago. Noticing that Lily has regained consciousness, the woman is very surprised. She assures that it is too early for this stage. After learning how the girl behaves, Rose concludes that she is progressing much faster than the guinea pig. But the problem is that in order to continue the experiment, Lily must constantly receive injections of serum, the main component of which is the tissue of the embryos. All this time, the woman impregnated herself on her own, and then caused miscarriages in order to get the necessary material, and the remaining serum will only last for a couple of weeks. Therefore, Rose is trying to find some way out of this situation. At some point, an idea comes to her mind, and she quickly runs off to work. When the woman returns, she sees that there is a TV in front of Lily's bed. As soon as she turned it off, the girl immediately began to whimper. Noting the new habits of the child, Rose calls Celine to talk. She studied the hospital's file and found a suitable sample among the pregnant women. Now it's up to Celine. She needs to somehow get amniotic fluid in order to make a new batch of serum. By faking the tests of Emily, the most suitable pregnant woman, Celine manages to get the necessary materials. At home, Rose informs them that with the help of the received material, they will win a few more weeks. She ruthlessly declares that Celine will have to do this several more times until the woman gives birth. Realizing that Emily will worry and think that something is wrong with the child, the woman nevertheless agrees. A few days later, Rose puts Lily on her feet, and she takes her first hesitant steps. In addition, the girl remembers a song that her mother sang to her in infancy, and she also began to respond to her name. One evening, Celine stumbles upon videotapes of experiments and sees that Rose's mother became the first test subject. The shocked woman turns off the recording and tries not to think about what she saw. At the next procedure, Emily announces that she is being transferred to another hospital. Upon arriving home, Celine tells Rose about it, and a small quarrel ensues between the women. Everyone is trying to find the opponent's fault for what happened. But in the end, both realize that now they need to look for new ways to solve this problem. That night, Lily gets up in the middle of the night and kills a piglet. Deciding that this is an additional opportunity to study the specimen from the inside, Rose gets down to deal. She manages to find a way to speed up the girl's recovery process, and for that, she needs a bone marrow-based serum. The woman, with the help of Celine, takes her material to work and then continues to monitor the girl's reaction. There is no improvement, but Celine does not despair. She is going to take extra shifts to have access to more patients, because this will increase the opportunity to find a suitable donor. However, Rose recommends taking a vacation to spend more time with her daughter. She understands that the girl will soon be gone due to the lack of the necessary serum. A few days later, Lily's heart stops. Celine was there until the last minute. When Rose returned from work, all she saw was a perfectly made bed and the girl's body in the freezer. Celine went to Emily's at that moment. She asked for tea and imperceptibly slipped a drug that causes childbirth into the girl's mug. When the woman began to have seizures, Celine immediately called an ambulance. They took the woman in labor to their hospital, and Celine took part in the operation. The child was saved, but the mother, unfortunately, passed away. Rose, who was on duty at the morgue, was able to collect all the necessary materials. When she returned home, she found Celine devastated. This time they had a revival together, hoping that they would be able to bring the experiment to the very end. After all, there is no more purposeful person than a mother who wants to save her child, even at the cost of someone's lives. That's it. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. There are a lot of interesting and exciting things waiting for you here. See you in the next videos.